Day 32 in Vermont, and it's cloudy and the roads are still wet, but the forecast improved and supposedly it's done raining. So man, I hope that's true. Should be a good day. If so, really looking forward to it. You get today done and then there's a long drive tonight, and I'll start making more progress westwards. So it's a good day. Let's ride. Day 32 is done and I'm in New York right now on my way to the next spot. So it was a pretty good day. Can't really complain because the sun came out and I haven't seen the sun for a couple days, so I'm definitely happy about that. And yeah, another day done. Now let me tell you something. Hey, have you ever had a situation where no matter how hard you try to avoid something, that it just happens anyway? So I was on the highway, right? And there's this big puddle, and I had already crossed it once, so I knew it was there, and I was gonna stop because there were other cars coming. So I stopped at the side of the road because I'm not gonna get splashed by these other cars like I got splashed in what was it, Connecticut or Delaware or something. So I waited, and I waited for a while, and then there was like a few cars behind me, and there was a truck right next to me, and he was like, "Are you gonna be able to make it?" I was like, "Yeah, I just don't want to get sprayed by these guys, so I'm just waiting." And he's like, "Okay, I'll wait here and you can just go." And I was like, "Thanks, dude." So I made it through the puddle, no problem. And then about maybe like 100 yards farther ahead, I forgot there was another puddle on the other side of the road. So here comes this car coming, screaming down the road right at me, and just sprays the crap out of me. And I was so mad, so mad. Like, it was cold and I was wet all day yesterday. I didn't want to be cold and wet again. And oh man, it's funny right now, but I was so angry. And that's just how it goes sometimes. It's like you try your hardest to not let something happen, and it's just, it wants to happen, and it happens, and it doesn't matter. Like, it's just gonna happen. So yeah, Vermont is done, and I'm done with all the little tiny states, and I can move on with my life and never go back there again. So I'm happy about that. Really, I don't like the whole New England area. I think Massachusetts was probably the best. It's just too much traffic, and I just don't like the people. The drivers are kind of, some of them are good, but like today, oh my God, there's a lot of dickheads out there, and they'll do anything. No matter how far into the lane you ride, you could ride in the very, like, hugging the white line in the middle, and they would still pass you on a blind turn every time. Every time. They do not wait to pass you when it's safe at all. And it's kind of like that at home too, so I don't know. I just get tired of this same area, ready to move on, and I'm glad to be moving on. More distance today. I've got a 4-hour drive, but I'm actually happy for it because it means I'm getting farther away and closer to Seattle. And that's really the end goal. Actually, Anchorage is the end goal, but I feel like Seattle is kind of the end goal, and the last day is like the last day of the Tour de France. It's like a ceremony, right? So but anyway, yeah, I was thinking here would be a better way to do it, because 50 states, like, the state outlines are kind of arbitrary, but everything's arbitrary, right? 100 miles is arbitrary. Like, why miles? Why miles in the first place, America? What are we doing? And then why 100? But ever since I started riding, the very first big ride I did was the ride across Indiana, and it's 160 miles from the Illinois border to the Ohio border. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. And then I actually did it. But ever since then, like, I started doing, back then, I don't think it's as popular now, but any big group ride was like a century ride. And it was a really popular thing that all the events were centuries. And I've just always had an obsession with it. And I don't know why. Like, I was doing, like, when I first started out, I was doing a century per month. So that transformed into doing a century per week. And I don't know what it is about the distance, but, and you shouldn't even go on distance, you should go on time or total power or something, but it's just the perfect distance, and I don't know why it is, but it is. And but anyway, I was thinking what you should do instead of going by states is you should lay out, but you're gonna have a problem with Alaska and Hawaii still, but let's say you're just gonna do the lower 48. You could lay it out on a grid and divide it all up evenly somehow, so that you could geographically it all be equal, you know, instead of state by state. Somebody out there, if you're watching this, go ahead and do that and ride it, and I'll give you a thumbs up on all of your videos. So that's it for another day. I'm talking too much here, so I'll see you tomorrow.